A mysterious magic mirror. Not just an ordinary mirror, but a source of dark and powerful energy. This mirror empowers a terrifying witch. But that's not all. Within this magical mirror lies an extraordinary ability, the power to reveal the secrets of the past, present, and future. And the witch is so cruel and ruthless that she spares no one, not even her own blood. In her hunger for power, she mercilessly kills her own sister. A thrilling, mysterious, and spine-chilling story. The Huntsman Winters War. So, without further delay, let's dive into the main story. But before that, don't forget to subscribe to our small channel. At the beginning of the story, it is shown how Snow White takes control of the witch's kingdom. Then the scene cuts back to the past, where Ravenna is playing a game of chess with the king. But this is no ordinary game, whoever loses the game dies instantly. The king is unable to defeat the witch, and as a result, he loses and dies immediately, as it was already stated that the loser would face death. After the king's death, a grand ceremony is held in the kingdom. After all, he was not an ordinary man, he was the king. During the ceremony, his younger sister Freya notices a young man and smiles softly. Ravenna sees this but chooses not to say anything at that moment. Later that night, Ravenna asks Freya, "Do you like that boy?" Freya honestly admits that she does. This makes Ravenna angry, and she tells her, "If you cannot harden your heart against love, then the power hidden inside you will never awaken." Freya replies, "I don't want to be as powerful as you. I just want to stay the way I am." And days pass like this. Then one day, using her magical powers, Ravenna discovers that Freya is pregnant and is going to give birth to a baby girl. However, she warns Freya that the man she loves will eventually betray her. After some time, Freya indeed gives birth to a daughter. Life seems to be going well for a while. But suddenly, a tragic incident occurs, her room catches fire. She rushes back only to find everything destroyed. The young man is also standing there, but he says only one thing: "I had no choice." Freya misunderstands him, and at that very moment, the ice power within her awakens. She instantly freezes him and kills him on the spot. After this, Freya leaves the kingdom and travels to a distant frozen land, where she begins a new life. There, she starts abducting young children and trains them rigorously. After gathering the children, Freya addresses them, saying, "I have taken you away from your families. Now you have no attachments. You are no longer bound by love. Love and affection are nothing but lies. You must become strong, become great warriors. Because love only weakens the heart." However, among the children, one small boy appears very sad. Freya asks him, "Are you feeling sad?" But he says nothing. She then asks again, "Do you want to go back to your parents? Do you miss them?" The boy finally admits, "Yes." Hearing this, Freya becomes angry and says, "You must forget them. That's why I brought you far away from them." After that, the children are put through intense training and gradually transformed into powerful warriors. In this way, through intense training, the children are gradually transformed into a powerful elite army. With constant hard work and discipline, they become highly skilled warriors and eventually grow into adults. Freya constantly watches over them using a magical owl. This owl is extremely powerful, allowing her to see everything happening across the kingdom through its eyes. Among all the warriors, Eric and Sara become the most skilled, earning Freya's special favor. They begin attacking different kingdoms and conquering them one by one. After each victory, they bring the defeated king's crown and present it to Freya. She praises and thanks them for their loyalty. Thus, time passes. One night, Eric is walking alone in the darkness when Sara suddenly stops him. From the very beginning, Sara felt a strong connection toward Eric. Slowly, they begin to grow closer to each other. However, in this kingdom, love is strictly forbidden. Freya had already declared that no one is allowed to fall in love, as it is the greatest crime, one that will never be forgiven. Despite this, they fall in love. At one point, while bathing together, Sara tells Eric, "I used to live for the queen, but from today, I will live for you." She then removes the locket from her neck and places it around Eric's neck. Eric responds, "If we want to be together, we must escape from here. We can never live together in this place. And if Freya finds out, it will be dangerous." Sara replies, "We will escape very soon." But their fear soon becomes reality. Freya's magical owl watches them from above. And seeing through the owl means Freya herself is watching, she uses it to observe everything in her kingdom. After they finish bathing and come out, Freya's voice echoes. I know a story, in a kingdom where love was a crime. Yet, two people fell in love and betrayed their queen. At that very moment, the elite huntsman army surrounds them from all sides. Sara pleads, let us go, we love each other. Hearing this, Freya becomes furious and says, you want to leave? Fine. You may go. But first, you must face them. A fierce battle begins. At first, Eric gets beaten, but Sara soon joins in to help him. Together, they manage to defeat all the soldiers. However, just as they are about to escape, Freya raises a massive wall of ice between them. Eric tries to break through it but fails. Meanwhile, a soldier comes and kills Sara. The scene then shifts to show Eric being beaten by soldiers and thrown into a river. And just like that, 22 years pass. On the other side, when Snow White invades Ravenna's kingdom, Ravenna becomes trapped inside the magical mirror. Later, Snow White orders her soldiers to transport the mirror to a distant location, because Ravenna keeps whispering to her from inside the mirror, slowly making her sick. But during the journey, the cloth covering the mirror suddenly falls off. At that moment, Ravenna uses her magic from within the mirror. As a result, the soldiers begin fighting each other and eventually die on the spot. It is then revealed that Eric is not dead, he is still alive. He is seen chasing a deer to hunt it. Just as he shoots an arrow, it accidentally hits a soldier in the leg. Eric quickly approaches, takes the soldier's horse, and escapes from there. Later, he arrives at Sara's grave. He places a flower on her grave, believing that she had died. He had built a grave for her and regularly came there to pay his respects. At that moment, Snow White's soldiers arrive from behind and call out to Eric. When he approaches them, the commander takes him aside and begins to talk about the magical mirror. But suddenly, a magical owl appears nearby. Seeing it, Eric immediately kills it with an axe. He then tells the commander, this is Freya's owl. She uses it to watch everything. Eric continues, now that she knows about the magic mirror, we must recover it as soon as possible. If it falls into her hands, she will turn the entire world into ice and rule over it. And then, it will be impossible to save the world from that terrifying witch. After this, the commander assigns two skilled soldiers to accompany Eric. Together, they travel to the place where the soldiers had previously killed each other. Upon arriving, Eric carefully examines the area and notices wheel marks on the ground, realizing that this is where the battle took place. Moving forward, they find traces of black blood. Soon after, they discover a strange arrow lodged in a dead soldier's body. Eric observes it and says, this is no ordinary arrow. Meanwhile, a huntsman brings a crown to Freya and says, we have conquered all the northern kingdoms. Freya replies, the real game has only just begun. She then uses her magic to create a map. A soldier says, this is Snow White's kingdom. It's very difficult, almost impossible, to conquer. Their kingdom is vast, and their army is extremely large. Freya responds, do you know that Eric is still alive? And the thing he is searching for, you must find it before him. That thing is my sister's magic mirror. If I obtain it, I will capture more children and build an army so powerful that no one will be able to stand against it. On the other hand, Eric and two dwarfs go to an inn to rest. But some men arrive there and start causing trouble. Eventually, they begin beating Eric and are about to kill him. At that moment, a mysterious figure appears and defeats them all, saving Eric and the others. Then, when the unknown person removes the mask, everyone is shocked. Eric is stunned, and you must be surprised too, because it is none other than Sara. The same Sara whom we saw die earlier. But how is she still alive? This is where a new mystery begins. After that, Sara captures them all and asks Eric, you promised you would never leave me. Then why did you run away that day? Eric replies, I didn't run away, I saw you being killed with my own eyes. In reality, Freya showed two different illusions at the same time. Using her magic, she made Eric see that Sara had died, while Sara saw Eric abandoning her and running away. After that, she kept Sara imprisoned. Friends, as I said from the beginning, this witch is extremely clever and cunning. She carefully planned and executed this trick. Later, Sara asks Eric, what will happen if that magic mirror reaches Freya? Eric replies, if the mirror falls into Freya's hands, she will cover the entire world in ice. And then, no one will ever be able to stop her. Hearing this, Sara says, then we must find that mirror as soon as possible. Eric agrees. Sara assumes that the mirror might be taken to a nearby market to be sold, since it looks like gold and would be very valuable. They then begin walking through a forest. After some time, a group of dwarfs stops them, as they had set up a trap ahead. However, things take a turn when they themselves fall into another trap, this one set by two girls. The two girls demand gold and money from them. Eric responds, "We don't have gold or money, but we do have an arrow." At the tip of this arrow, there is a shining object that looks like a diamond. It indeed sparkles like a real diamond. The two girls then let them go and, after seeing the arrow, say, "This belongs to the government." Everyone laughs at this, because government is something only heard in fairy tales in their world. Although it may seem impossible, the two girls explain that it is not. These goblin-like beings truly exist. They agree to take Eric and his group to them on one condition: the girls will take as much gold and treasure as they can, while Eric and his team will only take the magical mirror. Eric agrees to this condition. These creatures are known for collecting shiny objects like gold, and they even possess a gold mine. They then set off on a boat toward their destination. Along the way, magical fairy-like creatures watch over them. Eventually, they reach the place. Upon arrival, they see many skeletons scattered around. At first, they feel afraid, but they gather courage and move forward. One of the girls notices a pearl ring on a skeleton's hand. She secretly takes it, tempted by its high value, without telling anyone. Moving further ahead, they notice traces of mysterious black blood. Soon after, they finally find the magical mirror they had been searching for. However, many of those creatures are lying dead around the mirror. Due to the mirror's magical influence, they had fought among themselves and died. As they attempt to take the mirror, one of the creatures suddenly appears. At first, it says nothing, but when it notices the girl has taken a valuable ring, it becomes furious and prepares to attack. At that moment, Eric and Sara strike first, and a fierce battle begins. When the creature starts losing, it screams to call its companions. After an intense fight, Eric and Sara manage to kill it. Afterward, Sara notices the locket she once gave to Eric still hanging around his neck. Eric tells her, "I never took it off, not even once." Meanwhile, the dwarfs and the two girls escape with the magical mirror. But the danger is far from over, it has only just begun. The creature that screamed before dying had called others, and now more of them rush in at incredible speed. Seeing this, Eric and Sara try to escape. But one of the creatures grabs Sara. Eric immediately returns to save her and successfully rescues her. Sara is shocked, because instead of running away, Eric came back for her. Sara then escapes to safety, but Eric stays behind. Using his sharp weapon, he cuts the ropes and fights alone, preventing the creatures from attacking the others. Seeing this, Sara realizes her mistake. To save Eric, she prepares an arrow. She wraps it with cloth and coats it with the creature's blood, which is like tar and easily flammable. She lights the arrow and fires it at them. Instantly, the creatures begin burning in flames. The remaining ones flee in fear, knowing they too would burn if they got close. Afterward, they all decide to stay there for the night. That night, Eric tries to approach Sara, but she says, "I'm not the same Sara anymore, I've changed." Still, Eric convinces her, and she eventually understands. They then share a close and emotional moment together. The next morning, Eric wakes up, and the magical mirror starts affecting him. He feels drawn toward it. But just then, Sara calls out to him, breaking the spell. Suddenly, everything around them begins to freeze. This happens because the Ice Queen has arrived. Eric is not surprised to see her, but everyone else is shocked. The Queen says to Eric, "I am your queen. Give me the mirror." Eric replies, "No, you are not my queen." The Queen then turns two soldiers into ice and commands the others, "Kill Eric and bring me the mirror." At that very moment, Sara picks up an arrow and shoots it toward Eric. Everyone leaves with the Queen, believing that Eric is dead. But suddenly, Eric jumps back up. Seeing this, everyone is shocked. Eric then says, "Sara didn't kill me. Her aim never misses. She intentionally shot the arrow at my locket to save me." This is how Sara saved him from the Queen. Meanwhile, when the Queen takes the magical mirror with her and recites the spell over it, her sister emerges from inside the mirror. The two of them then sit together on the throne. However, upon seeing her sister, Freya is initially frightened. Without her permission, Ravenna orders the soldiers to attack Snow White's kingdom. This makes Freya even more furious. Then, the scene shifts. As part of the plan, the dwarfs, being small in size, blend in with the children and secretly enter the queen's palace to steal the magical mirror. Meanwhile, Eric climbs over the walls and enters the palace. Inside, a young girl sees him but says nothing. When she was a child, Eric had once saved her from fear, so she remains silent. Eric moves further inside, while the dwarfs take their positions. At that moment, Eric fires an arrow from a distance, aiming at the Ice Queen Freya. However, the arrow is caught mid-air by her sister, Ravenna. Then Sara makes a big mistake. She attacks Freya with her sword, but Freya freezes her hand using her ice powers. The soldiers capture Sara. At that moment, Ravenna begins to manipulate Freya. She says, "Look, Sara attacked you, for love." At first, Freya is stunned. But Ravenna continues to provoke her, saying, "In your kingdom, love is forbidden. That was your rule. Yet they broke it." In this way, Ravenna keeps manipulating Freya, making her even more furious. After this, Freya prepares to execute Eric and Sara. However, they had grown up together with the huntsman since childhood, they were like family. So, the commander cannot bring himself to kill them. Instead, he turns against the witch and attacks her to save them. But at that moment, Ravenna uses her dark magic to strike them down, killing them one by one. Seeing this, Freya becomes furious. She had raised these warriors herself, and she cared deeply for them. To protect them, she creates a massive wall of ice between them. The soldiers try to break the wall but fail. Freya then demands to know how her child was killed. Ravenna refuses to answer. So Freya uses her power to take control of Ravenna's mind and discovers the truth. Her own sister had killed her child and framed her husband before killing him as well. After learning this, Freya is devastated and enraged. A fierce battle begins between the two sisters. As Freya attacks, Ravenna fights back, breaking the ice wall. The soldiers rush out and join the battle. Ravenna uses her powerful magic to kill everyone, and even Freya cannot match her strength. Finally, when Freya attempts to freeze Ravenna, Ravenna strikes her with a magical weapon, causing Freya to collapse. Eric then fights Ravenna but cannot defeat her. In a final act, Freya uses her remaining strength to freeze the magical mirror. Eric then throws his weapon at it. The mirror shatters into pieces, and with it, Ravenna is destroyed. In the end, Eric and Sara reunite. And this is where today's story comes to an end. Let me know in the comments how you like the story.